I want you to think about that moment you walk into a hotel room. You've been traveling all day. You are exhausted. You drop your bags, you close the door, and you hear that heavy clunk of the latch engaging. You let out a breath. You feel safe. You feel like you are finally in your own private sanctuary for the night. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but that feeling of safety, it's an illusion. For 15 years, my office has been a metal tube at 35,000 feet, but my home has been a different hotel room almost every night of the week. I have stayed in five-star luxury resorts in Dubai, and I have stayed in roadside motels during emergency diversions in the middle of nowhere. And here is the uncomfortable truth that the hospitality industry spends billions of dollars trying to make you forget. You are sleeping in a room that hundreds of strangers have keys to. And it's not just about who has a key, it's about the physical vulnerability of that room. Do you see this towel right here wedged under the door behind me? Most people think I do this to block out the hallway light, but that is not why I do it. This towel is a life-saving device. It is my first line of defense against the two biggest threats you face in a hotel room. One that wants to steal from you, and one that can kill you in your sleep. If you are an older traveler, your risks are different than mine. You need to know what the flight crews know. You need to know what the hotel managers know, but will never tell you. Tonight, I'm going to invite you into the crew-only safety briefing. I'm going to show you how to turn that illusion of safety into actual security, starting right here at the front door. If we haven't met before, hello, I'm Sophia. For a decade and a half, I have been a flight attendant for a major international carrier. I have seen the world, and I have slept in just about every corner of it. I have a special place in my heart for my older passengers. I see you on my flights. I see the excitement in your eyes about finally taking those bucket list trips. But I also know that as we age, we become more vulnerable. Our hearing isn't what it used to be. Maybe you wouldn't hear someone trying the door handle at 3 a.m. Our mobility slows down. Maybe you can't sprint down 20 flights of stairs during a fire alarm. The standard travel advice out there doesn't cut it for you anymore. You need protocols that account for your reality. Think of me as your daughter in the galley. I am the insider who is going to tell you the hard truths about travel to protect you, so you can explore the world with confidence, not fear. We are going deep today. I'm going to share my 9-point hotel room security protocol. It starts with that towel, but it ends with you having the peace of mind to get the restful sleep you need. Let's begin. This is it. The hack everyone asks me about. Why do I sleep with a wet towel under the door? It is not about light, and it's not just about blocking noise. This is about creating a hermetic seal against the #1 killer in hotel fires, toxic smoke. When a fire starts in a hotel, in a hallway, in a vending machine, in another room, it isn't the flames that usually kill people in their rooms. It is the smoke. Modern building materials, carpets, and wallpapers are full of synthetic chemicals. When they burn, they create thick, toxic, acrid smoke filled with cyanide and carbon monoxide. This smoke doesn't just drift. It travels under pressure. It seeks out every tiny crack and crevice, and the biggest crack in your room is the gap right here under the door. For seniors, this is critical. As we age, our lung capacity diminishes. We are more susceptible to respiratory distress. Just a few breaths of that thick, toxic smoke can disorient you, incapacitate you, and cause you to pass out long before the fire department can reach your floor. By wedging a wet towel here, you are creating a physical barrier that buys you precious time. There is another, more sinister reason for the towel. It prevents what security experts call a slider attack. Predators can use specialized tools, like a stiff wire with a hook or an under-the-door camera, slid through this gap to manipulate the door handle on the inside or spy on your room. A tightly wedged towel makes that impossible. Early in my career, we had a crew layover at a massive airport hotel in Chicago. In the middle of the night, a fire broke out in the laundry chute on our floor. I woke up to the alarm, and when I looked at the door, I saw thick, black, oily smoke curling underneath it, pumping into my room. It was terrifying. I immediately grabbed a towel, soaked it in the sink, and jammed it under the door. The smoke stopped instantly. I spent the next hour by the window breathing fresh air until the fire department cleared the floor. Later, in the lobby, I saw other guests who didn't know this trick. Their faces were covered in soot. They were coughing violently. Some had to be hospitalized for smoke inhalation. That damp towel was the difference between a terrifying inconvenience and a medical emergency for me. Do this every single night before you get into bed. First, the towel selection. Use a thick bath towel, not a thin hand towel. You need bulk. Second, the wetting technique. Get it damp in the sink, but wring it out thoroughly. You want it heavy and moldable, but not sopping wet that it ruins the hotel carpet or creates a slip hazard. Third, the wedge. Roll it up into a long sausage shape. Get down on your hands and knees and shove it firmly into the gap along the entire width of the door. Use your fingers to push it tight. You want a solid seal. Fourth, the test. Stand up and look. Can you see light coming through from the hallway? If yes, it's not tight enough. Redo it. Okay, you've sealed the bottom. Now let's look at the locks. You walk in, you throw this deadbolt, you flip this little swing bar latch, and you think, I'm locked in. No one can get in. I need you to understand something. Those locks are designed to provide privacy, not true security. Almost every modern hotel uses these electronic keycard locks. They are convenient. But here is the industry secret. They all have a master override. Hotel management, security, and sometimes housekeeping supervisors have master key cards that are programmed to open every door in the hotel, even if the deadbolt is thrown from the inside. If they need to get in, that deadbolt is just a minor inconvenience. And let's talk about this little swing bar or chain latch. You think it protects you. Go on YouTube and search for how to open a hotel door latch. You will see hundreds of videos showing how to defeat these in under 10 seconds using a stiff piece of paper or a simple wire tool slid between the door and the frame. They are useless against a determined intruder. This happened to a very good friend of mine, another flight attendant. She was on a layover in Miami. She did everything right, deadbolt thrown, latch engaged. At 2:30 in the morning, her door beeped and opened. A man walked into her pitch-black room. She screamed, he screamed. It turned out it was the hotel night manager. There had been a clerical error at the front desk, and their system showed her room as vacant and dirty. He was coming in to inspect it. He used his master key, which overrode the deadbolt. He pushed the door open hard enough to pop the flimsy swing bar latch. She was physically unharmed, but she was absolutely traumatized. The feeling of violation, that someone could just walk into your room while you are sleeping, is something you never forget. You cannot rely on the hotel's locks. You must bring your own. You need a portable secondary locking device that you control from the inside. There are two types I recommend for seniors because they require no tools and are easy to set up, even with arthritis. First, the door wedge alarm. This is the simplest option. It's a rubber doorstop that you wedge under the door from the inside. If someone tries to push the door open, the wedge stops it physically, but it also has a pressure plate on top. When the door hits it, it triggers an ear-piercing 120 decibel siren. That noise will scare off any intruder and wake you up instantly. Second, the portable door lock. This is a metal piece that fits into the strike plate on the door frame. You close the door and then you slide a red handle into the metal piece. It uses the door's own frame to physically prevent it from opening even if someone has a master key. It is incredibly strong. The action. Buy one of these today. It costs less than $20. Put it in your suitcase. Every night after you do the towel seal, install your secondary lock. That is true peace of mind. You've secured the door. Now you need to secure the space inside. Before you unpack your bag, before you use the bathroom, before you sit on the bed, you need to perform what we call the Flight Attendant 360. We are looking for two things: intruders who are already here and hidden cameras that are watching you. It is sickening, but the technology for hidden cameras has become cheap, tiny, and incredibly easy to hide. You can buy a camera hidden in a fake smoke detector, an alarm clock, a USB charger, or even a coat hook on Amazon for $30. Predators, sometimes previous guests, sometimes rogue staff, plant these devices in hotel rooms to record guests in private moments. They target areas where you have a reasonable expectation of privacy, facing the bed and facing the shower or toilet in the bathroom. For seniors who may take longer to get dressed or need to use the bathroom more frequently, this violation of dignity is horrifying. I was flying with a passenger once, a lovely older woman, who was visibly shaken. She told me that on her last trip, she was staying in a well-known hotel chain. She went to plug her phone charger into the outlet on the desk lamp. She noticed the lamp base looked a little odd. It had a tiny black dot on it that didn't seem to belong. She was smart. She called the police. It was a live streaming camera. It had been broadcasting her entire stay to a website. She was devastated. She felt so violated that she almost stopped traveling completely. Do this immediately upon entering the room. Do not turn on the main lights yet. First, the underbed check, the very first thing. Drop your bags by the door. Walk to the bed, lift the bed skirt, use your phone flashlight, and look completely under the bed. This is the most common hiding spot for a physical intruder lying in wait. Second, the bathroom scan. Go into the bathroom. Close the door. Turn off the lights so it's pitch black. Turn on your phone flashlight and sweep it slowly over every surface, the mirror, the shower head, the vents, the smoke detector. You are looking for the glint, the reflection of a camera lens. Third, the mirror test. Put your fingernail against the surface of the bathroom mirror. If there is a gap between your fingernail and its reflection, it's a regular mirror. If your fingernail touches its reflection directly, with no gap, it could be a two-way mirror. It's rare in hotels, but it happens. Fourth, the electronics check. Examine the alarm clock and the TV area. Is the alarm clock facing the bed directly? Does it have any strange holes? Unplug it and turn it around. Check any USB charging bricks left in outlets. If it looks suspicious, unplug it and put it in a drawer. Fifth, the dark room scan. Go back into the main room. Close the drapes. Make it as dark as possible. Open your phone's camera app, not the flashlight. Look around the room through your phone screen. You are looking for tiny purple or red lights that are invisible to the naked eye. These are the infrared illuminators used by night vision cameras. If you see a suspicious light on your screen, investigate it. If you find anything that makes you uncomfortable, do not touch it. Leave the room immediately. Go down to the lobby and demand a new room on a different floor and call the police if you found a device. We have secured the main door from smoke and intruders. We have swept the room for hidden eyes. But there is another door in many hotel rooms that people completely forget about. It looks locked, but it is often the weakest physical point in the entire room. We need to talk about the adjoining door threat vector. You see this door? It looks locked. It looks solid. You might even have a dresser pushed vaguely in front of it. To a flight attendant, this is the most dangerous physical weak point in the entire room. Hotels love connecting rooms because they sell more suites to families. But for the solo senior traveler, they are a nightmare. First, these doors are not built like the main corridor door. They are often hollow core, meaning they offer almost zero soundproofing. You can hear the person next door, and more importantly, they can hear you. They know when you are showering, they know when you are talking on the phone, they know you are alone. Second, the locks on these doors are often incredibly simple deadbolts that can be easily manipulated from the other side with basic tools. Or sometimes they are left unlocked by lazy housekeeping staff who forgot to resecure them after cleaning a suite. I was staying in a hotel in Atlanta. It was late, maybe 11 p.m. I heard the guests in the adjoining room arguing. It sounded violent. Suddenly, I saw the handle on my side of the connecting door start to turn. The man next door was trying to force his way into my room, thinking it was an exit or just looking for somewhere to go. The lock held, but the door rattled in its frame so violently I thought the wood would splinter. If I hadn't already wedged a chair under that handle, he might have popped that cheap lock. I spent the rest of the night in the lobby. First, the physical check. As soon as you enter, go to this door. Try the handle. Push on it. Ensure it is locked. Second, the sound dampener. Roll up a second bath towel and wedge it tight under this door too. It stops light leaks, but more importantly, it muffles the sound of your movements so the neighbors don't know your schedule. Third, the barricade. If you are traveling alone, move the heaviest piece of furniture you can manage, often a luggage rack or a heavy armchair, in front of this door. If you can't move furniture, put your heaviest suitcase right against it. You want to make it physically impossible for that door to swing open without waking you up. Now, let's talk about the phone. At 2 a.m., this phone rings. You wake up groggy. The display says front desk. You answer. A polite man says, "Mrs. Johnson, this is the night manager. I am so sorry to wake you, but we had a system crash and we lost your credit card info. We need to run it again or the system will lock you out of your room." You are tired. He sounds professional. He used your name. You reach for your purse. Stop. You are being robbed. This is a classic social engineering attack targeting seniors. Predators know that older generations are polite and conditioned to respect authority figures like managers. Here is the industry secret. Hackers can easily spoof the caller ID on hotel room phones. Just because it says front desk doesn't mean it is. Furthermore, in many hotels, calls can be transferred from room to room. That manager could be a scammer sitting in the room next door. There is also the physical version of this, the knock at the door. Housekeeping, or maintenance, we have a leak. A crew member of mine, a young flight attendant, got a knock at 10 p.m. The voice said, "Maintenance, gas leak emergency. We need to check your sensors." She panicked. She opened the door. Two men pushed past her, grabbed her laptop and purse, and ran. There was no gas leak. They just used the word emergency to bypass her brain's security filters. First, the callback rule. If the phone rings and anyone asks for financial info or personal details, hang up immediately. Do not engage. Pick up your cell phone, not the room phone, and call the hotel's main number from Google Maps. Ask the real front desk if they just called you. 99% of the time, they didn't. Second, the physical challenge. If someone knocks claiming to be staff, do not open the door. Look through the peephole. If they are in uniform, still do not open it. Third, the script. Shout through the locked door. "I did not request service. I am calling the front desk right now to verify you." A real employee will wait patiently. A predator will run away the second you mention calling the front desk. When you check in, the clerk usually asks, "High floor or low floor?" Most people say high floor for the view or low floor to avoid elevators. Both of those answers are wrong. Safety is a geometry problem. Ground floor. This is the burglar zone. Windows can be smashed. Parking lots are right there for a quick getaway. Never stay on the ground floor if you can avoid it. Top floor. This is the trap zone. Standard fire department ladders usually only reach up to the 6th or 7th floor. If you are on the 20th floor and a fire blocks the stairwell, the fire department cannot get you from the window. You are trapped. If the elevators are shut down during a fire alarm, which they will be, do your knees allow you to walk down 20 flights of stairs? I've seen seniors stuck in high-rise stairwells, unable to move due to hip or knee pain, blocking the exit for everyone else. We had a crew stay in a 40-story hotel in Las Vegas. A fire alarm went off at 3 a.m. It was a false alarm, but we didn't know that. One of our pilots had a bad knee. He was on the 32nd floor. He physically couldn't do the stairs. He sat in his room, praying it wasn't real, while smoke, if it had been real, would have consumed him. He felt totally helpless. When you book or when you check in, make this specific request. "I would like a room between the 3rd and 6th floor, please." Floors 3-6 are the Goldilocks zone, high enough that a burglar can't climb in from the street, low enough that a fire truck ladder can break your window and rescue you, low enough that if you must take the stairs, it's only a few flights, not a marathon. The alarm screams at 3 a.m. It is pitch black. There is smoke in the hallway. You are groggy. Do you know where your glasses are? Do you know where your room key is? In a true emergency, your brain enters fight or flight. Fine motor skills vanish. Rational thought disappears. You get tunnel vision. If you have to hunt for your shoes or your hearing aids, you will die. Airlines train us to have situational awareness and muscle memory. You need to build that muscle memory before you go to sleep. I was in a hotel evacuation in London. In the hallway, I found an elderly couple crawling on the floor. The smoke was thick. The husband was weeping. I asked him what was wrong. He said, "I can't see." He had left his glasses on the nightstand in his panic. He was virtually blind in a smoke-filled corridor. I had to physically guide them down 4 flights of stairs. If I hadn't been there, they might have turned the wrong way and been trapped. First, the grab bag. Before you sleep, put your absolutely essential items in one specific spot, usually inside your shoes right next to the bed. Glasses, room key, phone, small flashlight. Second, the door count. This is the most important flight attendant secret. When you arrive, walk out of your room. Find the nearest emergency exit stairs. Count the doors between your room and that exit. 1, 2, 3 doors on the left. Why? Because in a fire, the smoke rises. You will be crawling on the floor. You cannot see the exit signs in thick smoke. You need to be able to feel the wall and count. Door 1, door 2, door 3, exit. We have secured the room. We have prepped for the worst. But there are two more vulnerabilities left. One happens in the lobby before you even get your key, and the other involves that little metal safe in the closet that you think is secure. We need to talk about why you should never say your room number out loud. This next secret starts before you even get into the elevator. It starts downstairs in the busy, noisy lobby. You're tired. You walk up to the front desk. The cheerful agent types on their computer and says in a loud, welcoming voice, "Okay, Ms. Henderson, you are all set. You are in room 412. Here is your key." You smile, take the key, and head to the elevator. Stop. You have just been exposed. Hotel lobbies are hunting grounds. Predators, thieves, and stalkers hang out in lobbies because they are public spaces. They pretend to read a newspaper or check their phone, but they are listening. They are shoulder surfing. When the clerk announces your name and your room number out loud, everyone within 20 feet now knows exactly where a solo female traveler is sleeping tonight. They don't need a key to target you. They can call your room directly from the lobby house phone to run the midnight imposter scam we talked about in Secret Night 5, or they can wait until you leave for dinner and slip into the room using a picked lock, knowing exactly which room is yours. This is a famous story in the flight attendant community. A female crew member checked into a hotel in New York. The clerk announced her room number loudly. A man sitting in the lobby heard it. He went to the house phone, called her room, and pretended to be the front desk. He said, "There is a problem with your payment. I need you to come down." When she left her room to go down, he was waiting in the hallway. He forced his way into her room the moment she opened the door. It was a targeted attack based entirely on that one slip of privacy in the lobby. You must train the front desk agent to protect you. First, the preemptive strike. When you hand over your ID and credit card, say quietly but firmly, "Please do not say my room number out loud. Please just point to it on the key packet." Second, the correction. If they do say it out loud, do not accept that room. It sounds extreme, but it is necessary. Say, "I'm sorry, but because you announced that number to the lobby, I do not feel safe in that room. Please assign me a different room and write the number down silently." A good agent will apologize immediately and switch you. Your safety is worth the extra 2 minutes. Third, the envelope disposal. Never leave the little envelope with your room number on it on a restaurant table or throw it in a public trash can in the lobby. That is a map to your valuables. Shred it or keep it in your purse until you check out. Finally, let's talk about this little metal box, the in-room safe. You put your passport, your emergency cash, and your jewelry in here. You punch in your secret 4-digit code. You feel secure. I am sorry to burst your bubble, but this safe is an illusion. These safes are designed to keep honest people honest, to stop a housekeeper from swiping a watch on impulse. They are not designed to stop a professional thief. Every single hotel safe has a master override code or a specialized electronic tool that opens it in seconds. This is necessary because guests forget their codes constantly. The problem is that in many hotels, the default manufacturer code, like 000, 1234, or 9999, is never changed by the hotel management. Or the override tool is kept in a drawer at the front desk where any staff member can grab it. There are hundreds of videos online showing people opening locked hotel safes in 5 seconds using a magnet or a default code. If your items are stolen from the room's safe, you are almost never covered. Read the fine print on the registration card you signed. It usually says, "Hotel is not responsible for valuables left in room." They will point to that sign and give you nothing. I had a pilot lose his passport and wallet this way in Mexico. He locked it in the safe. When he came back from dinner, the safe was locked. He punched in his code. It opened. It was empty. There was no sign of forced entry. Someone had used the master code, taken his stuff, and relocked it. Because there was no break-in evidence, the police wouldn't file a report, and the hotel claimed he must have misplaced it. He was stuck in Mexico for a week getting emergency documents. First, the never list. Never put your passport or huge amounts of cash in the room safe. Second, the decoy. Put things of minor value in the safe, maybe a tablet or a cheap watch. Let the thief feel like they won if they break in. Third, the hiding spots. Hide your true valuables in boring, non-obvious places in the room. Inside a dirty sock at the bottom of your laundry bag. Tape an envelope to the underside of a drawer. Inside an empty aspirin bottle in your toiletry kit. Or best of all, locked inside your own hard-sided suitcase, secured to the furniture with a cable lock. Your suitcase lock is often stronger than the hotel safe. Okay, take a breath. That was a lot of heavy information. We covered the towel seal, the secondary locks, the room sweep, the adjoining door danger, the phone scams, the floor selection, the grab bag, the lobby privacy, and the safe myth. I know this might make you feel paranoid, but I prefer the word prepared. Now I want to hear from you. My community of travelers is the smartest in the world. What is the one thing you always do when you check into a hotel room to feel safe? Do you check under the bed? Do you put a chair in front of the door? Tell me your personal safety hack in the comments below. Let's build a database of safety tips right here in the comments section. I want to leave you with one final thought. I know that watching a video like this can be scary. It feels like I'm telling you the world is a dangerous place filled with smoke and thieves, and yes, the risks are real. But fear is not the goal. Empowerment is the goal. When I wedge that towel under the door tonight, I am not doing it because I am terrified. I am doing it so I can stop worrying. The 10 minutes you spend doing this flight attendant protocol, checking the room, sealing the door, setting up your grab bag, that is the price of admission for a good night's sleep. When you lay your head on that pillow, I want you to know that you are secure. I want you to know that you have done everything possible to protect yourself. Because when you sleep well, you wake up refreshed. You have the energy to explore the ruins in Rome, to walk the beach in Maui, to chase your grandkids around Disney World. You deserve those adventures. You have earned them. Don't let fear keep you at home. Just take me with you in spirit. Pack the door stop, bring the flashlight, wedge the towel, be smart, be safe, and as always, I'll see you in the sky.